What's up, everybody? This is Jacob, the Sports King, coming back for my final video with the college bowl games and my first NFL playoff video, just doing the first week. Now, my previous videos for college football, I'm 8-9 straight up and 14-13 against the spread, which is about average in both. I was doing pretty good until last week. I went 4-4 straight up and 3-5 against the spread, which kind of sent me back, but I'm still okay. I'm in the middle, but I'd like to get to the 70% mark in straight up victories and 60% mark in against the spread. First game is K-State against Arkansas. K-State's really just such a average team with a good record. They played a lot of teams close and won them, but I don't think this game will be very close. I think Arkansas will be able to score quite a bit against K-State, and I think Arkansas will cover the 7.5 points. They're 14th offensively, averaging almost 40 points per game. About 38 points is what they're averaging. K-State can score too as well. They're averaging 33 points per game, but their defense is subpar, 69th, averaging to give up 28 points per game, whereas Arkansas is a little better, only averaging to allow 22 points per game. They played in the SEC, which has weaker offenses compared to the Big 12, which K-State plays in. So you can see why those numbers would be skewed one way or the other. The SEC has better defenses and lower scoring games, as Big 12s are a lot of shootouts. But with that said, I think Arkansas is going to be able to throw the ball pretty well. That's what they have been doing a lot. Is they've been in shotgun type spread formations quite often, and they like to throw the ball. They're gonna throw it quite a bit. But that's kind of been more of a common factor you see in the college football, is spreading the offense and letting your wide receiver screens be more of your running game. And a lot of teams are looking more into that. And Arkansas has had pretty good success, so I'm going to take them. And I think that they will win by about 2 touchdowns in this game. So -7.5 Arkansas is my first selection. Now the next game is SMU, or Southern Methodist University, versus Pittsburgh. SMU is 71st offensively, averaging about 26 points per game. Pitt is 69th, a little bit better decimal wise, but still about 26 points per game. SMU defensively 51st, averaging about 25 points per game allowed, and Pittsburgh about 34th in the country, averaging to give up 22 points defensively, which makes sense because the offenses are essentially a cancellation, and the defenses. Pitt is a little bit better by about 3 points, which is why the line's at 3.5. But with that said, I think SMU is going to win this game outright, minus the spread. Forget about that. I think SMU is going to win this game. I'm going to take them +3 because I can. And I like SMU likes to throw the ball. They got a good good wide receivers. They got a decent quarterback. If they don't turn the ball over, they should win this game fairly easy, in my opinion. But it'll be a boring bowl game. It's not one that's going to be exciting to watch. We're kind of forced to, because it's about all that's on that day. And I'm sure many of you will anyways, but it'll be a boring game, and I think SMU is going to win it. They beat TCU, so a lot of people found out how good TCU was throughout the year. They won quite a bit of games. They beat Louisiana Tech in their bowl game, which was actually not a bad team. And Pitt is just an average Big East team, which you see a lot in some of these bowl games. Average Big Ten teams like Purdue, Northwestern, Iowa, and they've all lost. And I think the Big Ten's better than the AC, but I don't think Pitt's any better than any of those teams. And I think SMU is a pretty decent team. I think they're a lot better than Pitt. So I really like SMU here. I'm going to make them my lock of the week on college football picks. Arkansas State against Northern Illinois. Now, a lot of people don't know a lot about either one of these teams. I can't say I know a whole lot more about them than you do, but I can give you some of their statistics, and I can tell you a little background from which the teams come from. Arkansas State is 25th in the country, averaging about 34 points per game, 14th defensively, averaging to give up about 20, which is pretty damn good for a team we've never heard about. Northern Illinois had great bowl game success under Jerry Kill before he came to Minnesota, which is where I'm from, which is why I can tell you more about this. And they ran the spread offense quite a bit there, but they had a pretty good rushing attack while he was there, and they still do run the ball quite a bit, even with Kill being in Minnesota. But he really built that program to what it is now. They were 10-3 again. I think they've had like 3 or 4 straight 10-win seasons. So Northern Illinois has proven themselves to be a pretty good contender, and they've had good success in these bowl games. This one, however, I think Arkansas State's going to win. The line's -1.5. I like the way their stats match up more compared to Northern Illinois, because I can't say that I've really seen either team play a whole lot. I've caught Thursday games here and there of Northern Illinois, but I can't say that I've ever watched Arkansas State. But Arkansas State beat Florida International, which I thought was a pretty good team this year with a good defense. And they put up over 30 points against them, so I was pretty impressed by looking at that. But with Northern Illinois, they beat Toledo, which is another team that I was really impressed with when I watched them in their bowl game. But they beat Toledo in a shootout, and we all know after watching that game against Toledo and Air Force is Toledo likes to throw the ball, and they like to score touchdowns and get in a scoring match with you. That's what happened in the Northern Illinois-Toledo game. Northern Illinois beat them 60-63, so it was a pretty fun game for both teams, I'm assuming. But Northern Illinois did beat them, which I was pretty impressed with. But I'm still going to take Arkansas State, -1.5. And the BCS National Championship game, Alabama against LSU. Many of you know who's playing. I don't have to get into it too much. Alabama's got the best defense in the country. LSU's got the second best. LSU's got 12th offense. Alabama's got 16th. They match up very well. Like I say, it's hard to beat a good team twice. I really think LSU is the best team in the country. I thought for sure that they were going to beat everyone, and they did. I just do not see them beating Alabama twice. And it sucks to say, because now I think Alabama could be crowned national championships or national champions to a team that they lost to previously in the year, which is really another reason why they just need to get a playoff and be done with it. You can keep all the bowl games how they are. You can just add a bowl game after, you can just say Rose Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Cotton Bowl, round 1, there you go. And then, round 2 you can move into you can still have the bowl games, but you can just have them be a playoff set, so you don't lose the money that you're getting from the bowl games. I really wish they would look into that, and yeah, I think that Alabama will win, though, because they control the ball more with Trent Richardson, and statistically they outplayed LSU in the first game. But either way, I'm going to take Alabama here, -1. And that is the very final pick that I will be making for college football this season. I plan to be back next season delivering more picks, but while I'm still with you, I'm going to do my NFL wildcard picks. Cincinnati is at the Houston Texans. Cincinnati was 6-6 in the AFC, and the Houston Texans were 8-4 in the AFC with a win over Cincinnati at Cincinnati by 1 point. I believe the score is 20-19. But with these NFL games, I'm going to do an average offense based on passing yards and rushing yards is where I'm going to get my offensive number from. And Defense, I'm going to get it based on defensive yards rushing allowed and defensive yards passing allowed. Is where I'm going to get my averages and my numbers from on these games, just so you guys know that. Cincinnati was 19.5 in the NFL offensively, based on those stats I just stated. The Texans were 9th. But with them being 9th, you have to remember that they had Schaub at the beginning of the year. They had Andre Johnson for a little bit. They're not going to have both of them. They're going to have Andre Johnson, but very limited. They didn't have Arion Foster for a little bit, but he is back now. But I'm going to take Cincinnati +3 on the road because I trust Dalton more than I trust Yates, and AJ Green's not a bad wide receiver either, and Andre Johnson is hurt, but he will play, so we'll see how that experiment goes. Cedric Benson's not a bad running back either, and I like Cincy's defense right now better than the defense of the Texans. Steelers are at the Broncos. I think this is going to be the most boring NFL playoff game you'll ever watch because there's going to be no scoring in it. The Steelers are 9-3 in the AFC, and the Broncos were 6-6 in the AFC. The Steelers' offensive number is 12, and the Broncos is 18. Defensively, the Steelers' defensive number is 4, and the Broncos' defensive number is 20. But with that said, the Steelers' defensive passing yards allowed is first in the NFL. But that's not going to be an issue because we already know that Tebow's not going to be able to throw the ball on the Steelers, which I hate to say because I love Tebow, and I really hope they win this game. But the Steelers are going to be my pick to win the game, but I'm going to take the Broncos getting 9 points. I just think if Broncos can score 2 touchdowns, that they are going to cover the spread because I don't think the Steelers are going to score a whole ton against them with Mendenhall being out and Big Ben also playing on one leg essentially. So Broncos at +9 are my selection, but I think the Tebow reign is about to come to an end. And it was exciting while it lasted. Lions are at the Saints. The Lions offensive number is 15, defensive number is 22.5. Saints offensive number is 3.5, and defensive number is 21. Saints were 9-3 in the AFC, and the Lions were 6-6 in the NFC. But a big game note on this one is the Saints are 30th in the NFL in pass defense, which we all know that's all the Lions want to do is throw the ball to Calvin Johnson and see what he can do. So I think the Lions are going to stay within the 11 points that they're getting, but I think the Saints will win the game. Take note that the Saints are undefeated at home. They just crushed Atlanta at home, which is another playoff team. And the Saints also beat the Lions 31-17 earlier in the year. So keep that in mind as well. I think the Saints are probably the best team in the NFL right now, which is really hard for me to say because the Packers have been so great all year long, and I really think the Packers were going to repeat for the longest time. But they just seem to have lost their mojo a little bit. And I'm not just talking about the Kansas City game. They just seem like they've slowed down a little bit. They looked good last week against the Lions with Matt Flynn putting up 45 points on the Lions. But the Saints will be my selection to win the game, but not to cover. I'm going to take the Lions +11. Falcons at the Giants. Falcons are 7-5 in the AFC, 13th offensive number, 13th defensive number. Giants 13.5 offensive number, 24th defensive number. 5-7 in the NFC, which is kind of surprised to see, but the Giants have such good talent. They're just like Dallas, but they can lose. They find ways to lose games for such a offensively talented team. Their defense they got a great D-line that's just kind of slowed down lately, and they've had trouble getting to the quarterback. Michael Turner can control the ball, can control this game. Matty Ice doesn't turn the ball over too much. It could be one of those games in Eli Manning's hands to where if he turns the ball over, they lose. But I'm going to take the Giants -3 with very little confidence. And that's my selections for the first week of the NFL Wildcard and the remaining college bowl games for these week and weekend. I appreciate you guys for coming back. If you guys want to subscribe, like, or comment, go ahead, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you. Bye.